All right, and I've said this previously before, you know, black men have to start working for themselves. Okay. And I can't stress that enough. Okay, I can't stress that enough because the reality is that how long have black men been on YouTube and complained about racism? You know what I mean? Like, how long has that taken place? You know what I mean? Like, how many years, you know, how many years are you gonna sit here making video after video after video after video after video talking about racism? Okay, complaining about the workplace. There was a brother on here years ago, way back in 2012, 2013. Okay. Mr. Research know about him. His name was Dark One Son. Okay. And he was a young black man and he was a computer programmer. Okay. His name was Dark One Son. And he made many videos talking about his job, talking about like experiences and stuff on his job and stuff. I mean, stuff he had been through on his job, you know, the way he was treated, the way people talked to him, the way it made him feel, how he felt undervalued and devalued and stuff on his jobs and stuff. So much so to the point where he went he actually went to a psychiatrist. Okay, he went to a black psychiatrist too, because he said that the psychiatrist he went to was a black guy, it was a black male, psychiatrist who examined him. Okay, and he said that he had a long conversation with this black male psychiatrist about his job and the way he had been treated on his job and how it made him feel and what have you. And he said that it culminated in the end, the psychiatrist told him, hey, you just have to get your own business. And that stuck with him. And he even made a YouTube video talking about it. This psychiatrist who told him to go and get his own business. And he started making moves towards that goal. Now, unfortunately, the brother ended up succumbing to, mental illness. Yeah, he had some mental issues and stuff. So it was very unfortunate. Okay, but Dark One's son was a brother who was on here years ago, and he's a good example of what I was talking about. You know what I mean? He's a real good example. Okay, black men. There's been this theme on YouTube for a long time about black men in education and how the education system doesn't cater to black men and how it leads to the school to prison pipeline, and there are no opportunities and stuff out here for black men and all this and that. And I say this. The black man who was able to work for himself, he's in a powerful position. He's more powerful than the black man who, even the black man that's a corporate executive, but he just works for, you know, uh, a white owned, company, but he's a corporate executive. A black man that owns his own, termite exterminator business, or his own plumbing business, or his own trucking business, that black man who owns his own business is in a better position than that black man who's a corporate executive. Okay. And the reason I say that is because the black man who is a corporate executive, at any point, the company that he's working with can unilaterally make a decision to either remove him from his position or demote him or fire him from the company completely. At any moment, they have the power to do that because they are the employer and he is the employee. It doesn't matter if he's an executive or not. He's still an employee. Okay. And you got people on here. What's weird, you got people on here who say that, they make statements and they say that, you should be a manager in a company, or you have to go be a manager at a company first before, before you can own your own company. First of all, none of that is true. None of that is true. You can teach yourself management. Okay. It could help to work for somebody else's company or whatever first. So that could help. Okay. But how should I say it? It is not a requirement. Okay, but you got guys on here acting like it's a requirement that you have to do A before B. Okay. Or that you have to do C before D, and you don't. Okay, you really don't. When black men work for themselves, it's just like with the video with the brother, who flew the F-22 in the Air Force. Okay. When you work for yourself, you don't have to worry about the people coming and saying that, well, he said this, or he made me feel uncomfortable, or he's a big black guy, he's a big tall black guy, and he made me feel uncomfortable. You know what I mean? He made me feel weird. He made, you know what I mean? He man, you don't, the black man owns his own company. He don't have to worry about that bullshit. He don't have to worry about that shit. It's the black man who was an employee that has to worry about that. Okay. The black man who owns his own thing, he doesn't have to worry about somebody deciding one day that they don't, that they don't like him, or they have an issue with him or whatnot, and them just showing up, to make his life miserable. Okay. The black man who owns his own company, he ain't got to worry about that. He's in a powerful position. Okay. And all this stuff that you hear certain people on here saying, okay. And I think I'm going to play the audio of Mr. Research with this rhetoric, because I've been wanting to address this rhetoric. Okay. I've been wanting to address this rhetoric.
to talk about conservatism as well, just to keep that in loop. I am a Edmund Burke conservative. I am a John Adams conservative. I am not a Reaganite. I am not a Reaganite. So when you say this type of stuff, people like to call you names because that's the only way they can compete with you is to call you names. But the truth of the matter is, when you have a nation first, keep it here first type of mentality, then you would never allow things like Reagan's NAFTA, Reagan's jail expansion, or Clinton's NAFTA and Clinton.
And now let me say this. When he says that, why is it that more black people at that time didn't speak up about NAFTA? Or didn't speak up and say, hey, you're going to ship our jobs overseas? Or how come more of the black community at that time, when Clinton and stuff was in office and he was passing all that NAFTA stuff, how come more of them didn't speak up and say anything? Why wasn't it more of a concern? You have to ask yourself that question. I have an idea why. Okay. Part of it may be that the black community in the United States is a female-led community, and female concerns and stuff come first. And a lot of these jobs that they were gonna ship overseas, a lot of them were industrial jobs that mostly men work anyways. So maybe that might be a part of it, but I don't think Mr. Research is even going to address that, but I digress. Let's continue.
Jail expansion to even exist, because you're really supposed to keep it here. If we were really about free market, we would have if we were really about free market, we would have let the unions exist. We created laws.
Okay, so he's talking about the free market. Well, it really has nothing to do with what he's saying. The unions. Okay. The problem with the unions is the unions lost a lot of political battles that they picked in the 70s and 60s and stuff like that. They picked these battles themselves and they engaged in these battles and they lost these battles. Okay. And they had to suffer consequences for that. It had nothing to do with people just want to get rid of them, or no. The unions fought like crazy with Jimmy Carter. Okay, now Mr. Research never admits that. He always says that he always says it was Reagan who destroyed the union. It was actually Jimmy Carter did more to unions, negatively to unions, and I can bring up the data, than Reagan ever did. Okay, all the union busting happened in the 70s, not the 80s with Reagan. By the 80s, the unions were already dead. Okay, there were no unions left because of what happened under Carter. Okay.
Just to kill the unions. We created laws just to kill the unions. We didn't care about free market then.
Okay, but he's not citing the laws. He's not citing what laws that were created to kill off the unions. He's just repeating the same sentence over and over again. Okay.
We created laws to stop free market. The unions were the third government at the time. So anyway, let's get into the infrastructure bill and let's talk that talk and let's get some information on that. But you know how it is. I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to hit the thumbs up button because that's the righteous thing to do. Since you're watching this for free, hit the thumbs up. So I'm going to give you a little while to get that and then let's get to it. Political level, political people, house, doesn't matter. I know this sounds ridiculous, but I'm going to say things on a street level. I'm not going to say it on a political level. Political people will argue this fact, but on a street level, it really doesn't matter. The only thing the House matters is when it's blocking something or delaying something. Key, blocking something or delaying something. That is the strongest thing that they do. They know how to stop stuff. They really don't know how to create stuff. But every now and then, you will have things created at the House that are allowed to be discussed on the Senate. So there's a lot of things that get created at the House, whole lot of things. Senate won't hear half of it. Senate won't hear 60% of it. Senate will take the remaining 40% and change 30% of it to something totally different. Let me give you an example. If you in the House created something to help puppies, it goes over to the Senate, they discuss it, they approve it. Next thing you know, that whole thing that you did to help puppies actually helps goldfish. No puppies are helped. They change the whole thing. Many a times they'll change the whole darn.
And see, whenever he says that, he's really talking about black men. Okay, he's really talking about bills are created to help black men, and then they go to the Senate and they get switched around, and it ends up helping white women, or it ends up helping immigrants, or it ends up helping some other, Hispanic men or Hispanic women or Hispanic Asian immigrants or Jewish immigrants or gay immigrants. And my thing is this, okay? Black men in reality do not need government. All black men need to do is believe in themselves, okay, and build structures that facilitate themselves. That's all black men have to do. Voting isn't even really necessary if you really want to get down. I don't really believe in voting per se. I'll never tell people not to vote, but I understand that I understand that the true name of the game is the economic positioning. And the way you economically position yourself really is what determines your power. It's not really how you vote or how many of them you vote. Is what kind of economic position are you in? And you can do that completely independently. You do not need the government. In fact, government doesn't have the ability to come and do that for you. That's only something that you can do for yourself. But I digress. Let's continue.
Name of the thing that you let get over there. So the House don't really matter. So that's why we got to start with the House bill. If you really appreciate this knowledge that you're getting, stuff you never heard before, nobody ever gave you this level of the game, then make sure that you donate to the Cash App, the PayPal. One thing people always complain, I didn't know that, or them white folks ain't going to let us do this. It ain't that. It's the fact that it's not enough black men who have white man knowledge. That's really what it is. If more black men were owners, managers, and employers, if there was more managers, owners, and black male employers, the black male would be extremely powerful here in the USA.
Now, first off, we have black male managers, owners, and employers. The issue is Mr. Research refuses to talk to them. He acts like they don't exist. And he won't talk to them because he knows they're not going to go along with his bullshit. And his bullshit is that black males should just sign away everything in the workforce to white-owned labor unions. That's all Mr. Research is out here to promote. That's why he doesn't go talk to black male managers and people. Whenever Mr. Research talks, he's sitting up there always talking by himself. How come he never brings these people onto his platform to interview these people? He claims he wants to expose, black men to these new horizons and stuff, but he doesn't do that. What he does, he just gets these people who just talk to him on YouTube, and then he gets these different women, what's her name, Raw B and stuff up there to get up there and talk about nothing, and then he wags his finger at black men about what black men are doing, but in reality, he's not really doing anything. Okay,
but there's not a lot of us. So this is why I give you the level of the game. This does take up my time. I think this whole video is going to take me about an hour to do. And then I still got to go hit the gym. It's 2 a.m. in the morning. And then hit work later. But some of y'all need this level of the game. Hopefully you'll contribute. That will inspire me to keep doing this stuff. So the House doesn't really matter. But the House, it started over there in the House. Most things start. And then it went over to the Senate. So Here's what you got to understand about how Obama, this is the same infrastructure bill. Really. This is the same infrastructure bill that Democrats stopped Obama from doing, not Republicans, not conservatives. You do understand that there are Democrat conservatives and Democrat Republicans. Democrats and Republicans are a party. Conservatism is an idea, is a theory, a way of implementing policy. Liberal is a way of implementing policy, so on and so forth. Green Party is a party, so on and so forth. So now that you got this understanding that it goes over to the Senate, it's the same bill that Obama had. You know, Obama would have had a lot of more victories if some of the evil Democrats who stopped Obama, and I need to do a video on that. Hopefully you'll donate to that video as well. The same basic thing, you know, but now Biden's going to get credit for it. So here's what happens with presidencies. If you do an executive order, you will see something by the end of the year. So if I get sworn in January, February, and by December, Christmas, if I do an executive order, you'll see remnants of the effect by the end of the year. Going into the new year, 2022, you'll see my executive order take effect. But if I work through Congress, Congress is total of House and Senate. If I work through Congress, it may take 2 years for you to see effect. In some cases, depending on the pushback the Senate gives, it may take you 3 years to see effect. So I'm not judging Biden right now on a lot of the crap that's going on. I'm waiting to see Christmas 2022. If things economically look well, Christmas 2022, which seems like it's going to be that way, barring a war with Russia, I don't have a problem with Biden. Biden's not doing nothing major. Biden's not doing nothing minor. So even if he just does an even kill, because you got to understand, Trump did a lot of even kill minus NAFTA. NAFTA, he really went after. Thank God for that. NAFTA was a terrible thing from Clinton. Never should have had it. Ross Perot warned everybody. And the same thing with voodoo economics that Reagan had. Evil Reagan. Bush the first told everybody that was going to be terrible, and it was. Terrible mathematics from Reagan. Drugs and all this type of stuff. Terrible dude. Got caught talking with Nixon about people being monkeys. You know, just terrible dude. But aside from that, the infrastructure bill will go in, and then you'll start seeing a lot of road repair. What we as black males need to do is be first on these positions. So I'm gonna end this video by saying this. What you as a black male need to do before the white man listens to this video, before the Indian man listens to this video, because you know they come over to us to get ideas. What you need to do is form a conglomerate, black man. All these black men, especially.
And now when he says conglomerate, what does that even mean? What does that mean? That it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. He just said, well, black men, y'all need to get into a conglomerate and get all of these road construction jobs. First off, the way that works is the government, they pass this infrastructure bill and they allocate money to the states for all this road construction and road rebuilding, and then that money goes to the states, and then the states hire people that live in that state and stuff to construct those roads and stuff. It's not really done through contract. The contracts are really just given to the states, and then the states go and hire the companies and stuff to you know, the road, you know, construction companies and road construction companies to do all that work, you know. Now, if you're a black, what it is, you have to be in a position to benefit from that. You have to be a black man who owns a business, owns a construction company. Then you go to the state and you get a contract from the state. You don't just show up as a big ass group of black men and we say, hey, we want to, you know, do all the road construction in New Mexico. You have to do it where you're positioned and located to even do the work and to begin with. So if you're in Minnesota, you're going to have to petition the state of Minnesota, okay, for them to all right, for them to give you the contract and go out there and do that work. Okay. You can't be way in Texas if all your infrastructure stuff is way in Texas, but you want to do road construction way in Minnesota. Okay. You got to have, you know what I mean? It don't work like that. Each company has to approach the state itself, okay, and get those contracts. So when he says conglomerate, there is no conglomerate. It's just each and every individual company going themselves and getting the business themselves. Okay, that's really how it works. It doesn't work in like this mass group, or we're because that may not be the most profitable work. The road construction may not be most profitable work. You could be a black man with a construction company, and you may choose to take on another project that makes more money. But see, Mr. Research is placing all this importance on this road construction stuff because the government is doing. He thinks everything that the government does is the most important thing, and that's just not true. Many times what the government does may not even be the most profitable project. And a lot of times the reason you see a lot of immigrants doing a lot of that stuff out there is because the shit is paying low. It's not paying that much money. And a lot of Americans American companies, they'd rather not do it. Or if they do it, they hire cheap immigrants because it's a cheap project that isn't going to pay them much. See what I'm saying?
In a matter if you're talking about they do trades and all this, you need to get them together, form a conglomerate so that you can be first when these 2-year, 3-year, 4-year contracts come in play. Because what you don't want to be is not a player in any of this. You as a black man can't do nothing as an individual. You got to start doing things as a group.
That's another lie. That you as a black man can't do anything as an individual. You can accomplish a lot as an individual. You can make a living as an individual. You don't have to bother with other people if you don't want to. Okay. The only time the group stuff comes into effect is if there's something to gain from it. If there's something for you to gain from working with others, then yes, of course. But with him, everything is just theoretical. Well, theoretically, you should be doing things like this, or theoretically, and like I said, he's not in the business world. He doesn't own a business. He doesn't hire people. He doesn't own equipment. He doesn't, you know what I mean? But he wants to tell people that are doing stuff and that are doing better than him what they should be doing, but he got a job working for somebody else. Let's continue.
Collective. You got to be monolithic. So it's very stupid for people to say. Oh,
and see, again, he disparages people. You got to be monolithic. You're stupid if you're not. This is the language that this guy uses. This is how he talks to people. Very disparaging, putting people down, calling people stupid. Kind of funny how whenever he's talking about black people, he talks to them like, well, black people are stupid. Black people aren't doing this right. They're not doing that right. But he never talked about the white man like that. He never said, well, the white man is stupid for supporting NAFTA, or the white man is stupid for not hiring blacks for his business, or the white man is stupid. It's always the black man. It's always the black man's dumb. The black man's wrong. The black man doesn't think right. The black man this, the black man that. Just like Maximum, the same shit Maximum Black be doing.
Don't nobody want to be monolithic. That's something you learned on the plantation. You should be monolithic. Everybody should be monolithic for the sake of the end goal. I don't care what Tom is over there.
Okay, when he says end goal, what is the end goal? What is he actually talking about? He won't define that. See what I'm saying?
Is he helping us win? That's what unions were all about. That's why unions are more powerful.
No, unions were about taking the union members' money to make the union bosses that were in charge of the union wealthy. That's what unions were about. And a lot of the union bosses, these guys, they got so wealthy, they never really even had to work. You know what I mean? They would just A lot of them never even had to show up to their office. They just lounge around in their mansion all day. They may only show up to their office one day out of the month, and they might show up to give us, a little speech at the union meeting once every, I don't know, 3 or 4 months. And then they got to live these extravagant lifestyles. Okay, that's what unions do. If you're a black man that has his own situation, has his own business, you don't need a union. A union is useless to you. All a union is going to do is steal from you and take what you've worked hard for so that they can live this undeserved, wealthy lifestyle. That's all a union will do for you as a black man.
Than everybody doing this right to work nonsense. You're not more powerful than the people who were from the unions. They had more money. The families were stronger, all of that. Now you're in Amazon disarray.
Okay, so if they had more money, why didn't they fight to keep the unions going more? Doesn't that not make sense? If they really had all that money, they had it that good, why didn't Mr. Research's generation, why didn't they fight harder to keep the unions there? Why are you expecting black people in 2022 who are now moving on and want their own businesses, their own situation? You want us to fight for something that people in the 1970s, 1980s should have fought for? Answer that.
I digress. Anybody want to debate me on that? Just schedule a debate. I will show up. Matter of fact, you can come over here. That way you ain't got to try to police my microphone when I serve you this knowledge. Back to the infrastructure bill. So the infrastructure bill is going to do a lot of roads, paved, so on and so forth, but it may take 3 years for you to see it. Okay, you might be into Biden's last year before you actually see it. Now, tell everybody, I think Chris Christie will be our next president. I'm predicting that. Most of my predictions end up coming true, 80% of them, 70% of them. But I do predict that he will be the next president because I don't see nobody beating him on a microphone. I just don't, not even try. So with that said, we're going to wrap this up. You guys, I'm going to try to put out as much of these as possible, but it's all about your donations, whether you support these things or not. Eventually, I'll turn on the comment section, but we got so many childish males acting like females in the comment section, and I don't want to see that type of nonsense. Check out the Facebook, man. Make sure that you're attached. Make sure you're connected to the email so you can get the email blast. Much love, and we will be talking to you soon. Black First Conservative Documented Research. Peace. Oh, for those people who are like, where's the documented research? We're going to show you more of that on the next few videos. I'm not going to show it here right now. This is the setup for things to come. So you will see more of the documentations and things of that, who voted, all that type of stuff shortly to come. Much love. Talk to y'all later. Peace.
All right. All right, so that was that. All right. And I've said this, black men, you don't need unions. You don't need anyone. You just need yourself. You don't need to believe in these corrupt structures and stuff that want to take your hard-earned money and stuff. You don't need to believe in those things. All you need to do is believe in yourself and just work on yourself and develop yourself. And you can succeed as a black man in America. It ain't about the white man. It ain't about the black women. It ain't about slavery. It's just about you and what you do and how you apply yourself. See what I'm saying? And that's really what it is. But let me know what y'all think. Leave comments, subscribe. I'm going to go ahead and check out right now. Peace.